Arch, I think that's why he plays defense, right?
Is that
you don't appreciate that DB slander, huh?
Yeah, I don't like where you're going.
3rd and 8. How does McCarthy handle this? A little bit of pressure at the end. Delivers. First down, Vikings. Naylor. Another reminder to keep it here. The Verizon halftime report coming your way next. JB and the crew get you around the league. Scores and highlights, all the playoff ramifications on this final Sunday of the NFL season on the Verizon halftime report. So Kevin O'Connell taking his first time out. 46 seconds left. Certainly well within their field goal range here with Reichard. McCarthy to the end zone. And incomplete, looking for Addison. Jalen Simpson was with him.
And take advantage of the mishap by the defensive player. That was a missed opportunity right there from McCarthy.
McCarthy, who has shown significant growth over his last 3. And as he finished here this first half, McCarthy trying to create some time, delivers. McCarthy is learning when to take something off of his passes, and with the touch, fitting it into certain windows. One of the areas where they feel like he has shown some promise here of late. Chandler on the take, toting the rock, and he's going to be... They actually put a second back on the clock, so 25 seconds, 2nd and goal. They got 1 timeout left. He's going to bulldoze his way in for the touchdown. Jay Ham, you think that they don't know about it? That he's thinking about pondering potentially the end? 2 of the great Vikings with him and Harrison Smith. Stephanie, obviously an emotional moment with their family. Didi mentioned what a journey it's been. Former division.
The story gives him the football, and he's able to power into the end zone.
Stephanie all smiles, love to see it. 13-0 Vikings with 23 seconds left. Any more information than that, but thankfully Mark is okay. He is resting comfortably and is on the mend. Mark, we're thinking about you, and we wish you a speedy recovery. As our buddy Andy Friedman sitting in the director chair today, our pinch hitter here in Minneapolis.
Seconds before halftime, and Tune is just going to take a knee.
Well, I'm told that Gene Steratore did agree with that call, and that is going to get us to halftime here in Minneapolis. 13-0 Vikings against either the Bears or the Eagles. Jordan Love and the starters will be back as they get their final week of rest in this final regular season tune-up before they begin their 3rd straight postseason bid. Jacoby Keeney James crosses the 25 and run out of bounds around.
I said, could we see some changes? He said, no, these are the guys that we have. As for the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell said he's pleased with what he's seen from J.J. McCarthy so far, especially on early downs. He wants something better on late downs, and watch for some surgical pulling out.
Love kind of banging his elbow, had the numbness in his hand before they lost the wild card game to Philly. They lost Christian Watson, that devastating knee injury. But you have to optimize and legitimize and try
pointing it out. That's exactly what he was worried about, because even though every player on that football team understands what kind of week this is, they just don't want to have a complacent mentality where the details start to slip. And that's something they really felt happened, especially in that game against the Baltimore Ravens.
It's going to be the question mark in Green Bay all this week as they begin playoff preparations in earnest as soon as they get on that airplane back home. This is Emmanuel Wilson churning out some yardage, going to get inside. Is this the year that they can make some noise? Remember, Archie, middle part of the season, boy, people were talking about the Packers as if really a contending team in the NFC. Then you lose Micah Parsons, some of the other injuries that they've had to deal with.
He is really trending in the right way and poised to have a big postseason and impact on this football team.
Pitch play here to Chris Brooks, is going to lose yardage. Jordan Love, career best season for him, top 10 in the...
You had Christian Watson, he was missing for the first half of the season. The injury to Jordan Reed. So there's a lot of different pieces that this offense has had to deal with. But I think Love has done it masterfully. And I can't wait to see them play and see him play in the playoffs next week. Detroit Lions, and boy, he's really starting to show that he could be one of the key edge pieces here and one of the next great pass rushers here for the Minnesota Vikings.
Daniel Whelan has been a busy man. Fair catch. Biggest party is now bigger than ever with more stars, more glamour, and more chaos. Nikki Glazer hosts the Golden Globes live CBS next Sunday and streaming on Paramount+. Two in that first half for 174 yards. Quick strike. Justin Jefferson has been his main target. Jefferson over 1,000 yards in the first half, now targeted 9 times. That's his 6th catch. Could be potentially some pain in that right hand. And boy, that's the last thing that anyone wanted to see here. So the maneuver here to Max Brosmer, who made the start last week, as they continue to take a look at J.J. McCarthy down in the field. Run play here to Mason. Looks like it's going to be enough for the first down, but don't want to speculate, but obviously McCarthy in some kind of discomfort there. See him maybe flexing out that right hand. A couple of weeks ago, this was the play that he injured that right hand. Right on that follow through. He ended up staying in the game. Complained of the season plus in the NFL. Handoff Mason, and he's not going to get it. In fact, loses yardage. And Arch, this is part of the story with McCarthy. We know about the injury last year, the meniscus.
That's the number one real story with J.J. McCarthy is just being available. And I know that he was really looking forward to hitting this offseason and having a full offseason with good health. So you can just focus on playing quarterback and not worrying.
Numb any feeling. It appears that he's struggling to even hold the football right now.
Indeed, I thought I saw him mouth the words "I'm sorry" to some of his players, his teammates coming off the field there. And boy, from that vantage point, I don't know that we're going to see J.J. McCarthy again. 13-0 as this Vikings defense continues to pitch a shutout. This play whistle dead with a tune there on the pitch. Looks like a false start.
Full start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty.
That he sustained on that last regular season game. Had a little bit of numbness in the throwing hand. They make excuses for it in that wild card loss to the Eagles. But boy, you just would have liked to have had him healthy these last couple of weeks.
But you know, I look at Love as a guy that's in his 3rd season, and at least in the regular season, that hasn't been an issue. So I don't like saying, well, this is what you did then, so this is what you're going to do now. Yeah, I'm not really worried about the interceptions and the opportunity. Getting everybody healthy. Hopefully Josh Jacobs is ready to go and at full speed. The offensive line is able to come together with his weapons at receiver. I'm really excited about what's possible for Love in the Packers offense.
This is Brooks going to get out across the 30.
That defense?
Some of the wackiness around the NFL on this final Sunday of the NFL regular season with Manuel Wilson. Going to pick up a couple. Just get back to Jordan Love. You know, we asked Matt LaFleur about Love, and he just talked about, he said, look, I don't know what the outside narrative feel good about kind of where this operation is, about this plan to rest him and most of their frontline starters, as Wilson here is going to get another first down as he is brought down at the 50. And speaking of Jordan Love, certainly the burgeoning rising superstars that we have in the sport, had a chance to visit with him this week. Boy, you can sense the quiet confidence, even with some of the missing pieces, the up and down nature of this team the last couple of weeks. It certainly feels like this is a team that can.
Prolific thrower and runner in college, and he's had to make a number of plays today using his legs against an ultra-fast defense.
Pitch to Brooks, minimal yardage.
Well, this is, you know, either they're going to bring everybody or they have a variety of different zone coverages that they play behind it.
Here they come, and he's blown up again.
To get that sack and get Tune to the ground.
So they lose 11, and that backs him up. Daniel Whelan on the punt yet again. Jay Sean Jones. Towering punt, beautifully done by Whelan. And Jones buried inside that Minnesota. Vikings eliminated from playoff contention, of course, and the Packers are postseason bound for the 6th time in the last 7 years. Max Brosmer continues now to play in relief of J.J.
To potential offensive coordinator candidates, or you'll be behind.
Good completion here As they're going to get it out to the 20-yard line, and we asked him just about where his defense sits, trying to compartmentalize.
He's made a nice name for himself in just a short time here in the National Football League. He's already been a head coach before, so he has that experience at Boston College, and really what you're looking for is a CEO type, a guy like a
15th against the rush after they were top 10 against the run entering last week before they were blitzed and run over by that Baltimore Ravens offense. But they're just trying to get the block here, and we will get to the fourth quarter. 13-0 Vikings as we are through 3 here in Minneapolis. Final tune-up for the Packers before it gets for as we begin the fourth quarter. Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, Didi Kinkabwala, our producer Jason Ross, Andy Friedman, our director. Rest of our CBS crew, Happy New Year from Minneapolis. Max Brosmer on for J.J. McCarthy, who's final day of the season.
Yeah, really the best throw that we've seen from him in the last 2 weeks. He started last week against the Lions and with great timing hits Justin Jefferson on the outcut with a soft cushion, and that's one of the best passes that we've seen
of his career. And of course it was not pretty offensively, but was enough for them to get the win with how good that their defense was. Ty Chandler, not much of a chance with some ferociousness coming.
Impressive game as you could possibly play against the Detroit Lions.
Brosman was sacked 7 times in that game.